The concept of the rapture has intrigued and bewildered many. Depicted often in books and films, it conjures visions of believers being whisked away, leaving a world in chaos. However, when examined through critical questions, does this interpretation hold up? Today, we will explore three essential questions to uncover what God truly teaches about His protection and the tribulation. Let us begin with the first question. Where does the idea of the rapture originate? The term rapture itself is not found in the Bible. Its roots trace back to interpretations of passages like 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, which describe believers meeting the Lord in the air. This concept gained popularity in the 19th century, particularly through the teachings of John Nelson Darby. Yet, its scriptural foundation remains debated among scholars. By dissecting original texts and contexts, we challenge the literal interpretation that suggests a pre-tribulation removal of the faithful. Now let's contemplate our second question. What does the Bible say about God's protection during tribulation? The Bible is replete with stories and teachings that emphasize God's promise to protect His people, even amid trials. For instance, Psalm 91 speaks of God as a refuge and fortress, promising to shield those who trust Him. Instead of removal, Scripture often illustrates divine protection that accompanies believers through challenges, not away from them. Consider the Israelites in Egypt, shielded through plagues, or Daniel in the lion's den, examples of God's unwavering presence during adversity, highlighting protection without escape. Finally, we pose the third question. How should believers prepare for tribulation according to the Bible? Preparation involves strengthening faith and resilience, rather than awaiting an escape. Scripture advises vigilance, prayer, and maintaining a steadfast relationship with God. The parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25 underscores readiness and spiritual alertness. It is a call for inner preparation, cultivating virtues such as patience, endurance, and hope, which equip believers to navigate tribulation with unwavering faith. As we reflect on these questions, it becomes clear that the traditional view of the rapture may not fully align with biblical teachings. Instead of focusing on an eventual escape, the Scriptures encourage believers to rely on God's perpetual presence and protection throughout trials. This perspective fosters a resilient faith, urging believers to engage with the world actively and courageously. Thus, by examining the origins of the rapture concept, understanding God's promise of protection, and recognizing the call to prepare faithfully for trials, we cultivate a more comprehensive, Scripture-aligned understanding. In this journey, we find assurance in God's steadfastness, embracing faith that perseveres rather than seeks escape. This approach not only enriches our faith, but empowers believers to embody their spiritual commitment resiliently and actively in a world that so desperately needs hope and light.